Hello everyone, how's it going? Welcome to today's Wild Rift video. In today's video, we're taking a look at buffed Draven in patch 3.0a. Now, for those who don't know, Draven did get a buff this patch. It was to his ultimate. He did get 20% increase on his AD ratio on his ultimate. So nothing really, in my opinion, too impactful, but his ultimate being able to deal more damage is definitely big because it already does a lot of damage anyway. And sometimes that could be the difference between killing and not killing, which we'll see in today's gameplay as well, that sometimes it can be a really big difference. Now with Draven at the moment in the current meta, he is a very difficult champion to play. He's not the easiest champion to play because you have to catch axes all the time with his first ability, but he is really strong. If you can get an early lead with Draven, like you'll see in today's gameplay, if you can get an early advantage, if you can get a few items under your belt, then you can be really strong. Now there's two kind of different types of Draven builds that I want to walk through quickly. The first one is going for the BF sword first, which is a tier 2 item, and then going straight into Bloodthirster. Now Bloodthirster is a great item for Draven because you get a lot of physical vamp. Now as mentioned already, you have to try and pick up as many axes as possible, and sometimes your axes can go into positions where maybe you have to go a little bit too deep into enemy backline, but with the extra physical vamp that you get from Bloodthirster as the first item, this can help you out a lot. And then you've got items like Infinity Edge as well, which will be completed from your BF Sword, from your tier 2 item. Infinity Edge, great item for Draven, gives you a lot of attack damage, gives you the crit, and allows your crits to do more damage as well. You've got Solari Charge Blade, another great item for Draven. You'll be using your second ability a lot because it will give you attack speed, and it refreshes every single time you pick up an axe. So you'll be using that ability a lot. You'll be using your first ability a lot as well, just in case you do drop an axe, and you'll be using your other abilities. And obviously with Solari Charge Blade, when using ability, you gather Radiance, and then you'll be able to get that extra 25% crit and deal more damage. So with these items, with Solari Charge Blade, with Infinity Edge, and Bloodthirster, the 3 items combined, after using ability, you get 100% crit chance, which just allows Draven to deal loads of damage. Then after that, you got Mortal Reminder as well for the armor penetration, for the grievous wounds in there. And then as a final item, you're looking for, most likely, most of the time, you can go for Death Stance as the last item. So if I move all these items around quickly, go for Solari, go for Mortal Reminder, and then you want to go for Death Stance as your last item. Death Stance is really great because instead of taking a lot of burst damage, 30% of the damage taken is instead dealt as bleed damage over time. You have a lot of physical vamp already with Draven, with the Death Stance, with Bloodthirster on top as well, and you do a lot of AD damage. Now as you can tell in this build, there's not a lot of attack speed. It's because Draven doesn't need a lot of attack speed. Draven works really well with a lot of attack damage. You only really have Solari Charge Blade in here as your attack speed item, but honestly that's more than enough. As long as you keep activating your second ability when it's off cooldown, you'll keep gaining extra attack speed every single time, which will work really well with Draven. Now there is another one that I did mention that you can go into as well. If I can find it, I don't actually have it on here, so I'll quickly explain it to you anyway. So instead of going for BF Sword into Bloodthirster, you can kind of do it the other way around. So this way around, you kind of deal a little bit more damage. So instead of going BS Sword first, you go for the Vampire Acceptor first. So you get a little bit of physical vamp, but not as much as Bloodthirster. The other one is a bit of a safer option in my opinion because you don't get as much damage early game with the Infinity Edge, but you do get more sustain with the Bloodthirster. So after Vampire Acceptor, you go for Infinity Edge for the heavy burst. And then actually, I kind of messed this around a little bit. Then after that, you actually go for Solari Charge Blade. So the Solari Charge Blade plus Infinity Edge combo is a combo that you've seen me use many times on other champions like Lucian, like Zyra as well. So these two items as a good pairing is really nice. And then after that you go for Bloodthirster. Now obviously this means that you're not going to get a lot of physical vamp early game, so you might have to play a little bit more passive, and sometimes maybe you can't go as far forward to try and pick up the axes, but the damage output of this version of the build is a lot higher than the previous version. So again, just something for you to kind of flex about, try and give it a try and everything. In terms of the boots, most of the time Mercury Treads is really good. You don't need Gluttonous Greaves because you already have a lot of physical vamp anyway. Plated Steel Caps is really good if you get a lot of AD, and then you always want to go for Protobelt. Protobelt, Draven doesn't really have a dash, and sometimes that dash can be the difference between dying and not dying. For the runes, Conqueror, go-to rune for most champions at the moment. Really good, gains adaptive force and everything as well. Really great, a lot of damage. not really, not really much else to explain really with Conqueror. Still really, really good. Hunter Vampirism as well. You gain physical vamp. You also gain AD every single time that you get a unique takedown, and you get that extra physical vamp in the early game as well. So this could definitely help you out if you go for this version of the build, because if you do get some early kills, then you do get that little bit of extra physical vamp instead of going Bloodthirster instead. Adaptive Carapace, great with Draven. As mentioned, Draven's all about the early game, all about trying to get as much early game damage and early game advantage as possible to try and snowball into the mid and the late game. So also with Adaptive Carapace, you get the early health, you get the early armor or magic resist, depending on the type of damage you took over the last 60 seconds when you go below 50% health. And then you have Sweet Tooth for the extra healing and that little bit of extra gold. And then for the spells, Flash and Barrier. Barrier did receive a little bit of enough, but I still feel like Barrier is the go-to, because most of the time when you have a support with you, or they'll probably take heal, or they'll probably try and take ignite or something. But sometimes if you could use Barrier at the perfect time, it'd be really, really good. Now with Draven, most of the time you want to go for kind of aggressive supports with Draven. Alistar works really well, Thresh works really, really well, Leona also works really, really well. All these sort of early aggressive champions that can help Draven and kind of utilize Draven to be able to get that early game advantage. But you still have other champions that can work really well with Draven. Nami works really well with Draven, just giving Draven the extra bit of movement speed and slows on auto attacks. Lulu also works well. Yuumi works well as well. You will see as well that Yuumi is a great champion with Draven that can work really, really well. But yeah, kind of, it depends on your sports play style. But most of the time, aggressive early game champions is the way to go with Draven, just to try and get him a few early kills. But yeah, on that note, let's get on to the gameplay. Hopefully you all enjoy. As always, thank you all for tuning into this video. Enjoy the gameplay from one of my streams. And as always, take care, and I'll see you all very soon. Peace. I'll give you the benefit of doubt. Don't let me down. Alright, it's time. It's time. Last game was a bit unfortunate, I guess. This is the game. Let's go. If I'm waiting, it's fine for me. Can't stop me now.
Turret is under attack. Enemy slain.
Rengar 1 HP. Fucking nice one. I didn't even get the kill either, which is so sad. Not bad, not bad.
Enemy killing spree. The enemy team has slain the Rift Herald. Enemy slain. You have slain an enemy.
Already given up on Naz challenge. Yikes.
I'm not giving up. It's just that,
We're on a killing spree. Top turret is under
it's a new patch today, so I wanted to try out some champions. That's all. I haven't given up.
Just like the Jim Hussage.
Oh, I dodged it! Oh, okay, not bad. Not bad, not bad. I'm very surprised I dodged that tornado.
enemy slain.
I'll calm down. Nice little dodge there, chat. Not bad, not bad. That's kind of insane. I got into the stream and see Stuart pop off on Draven. This is a very, very rare sight. Very, very rare. This only ever happens once a year.
Enemy slain. Enemy slain.
Bang, bang.
First turret destroyed.
Do-do-do-do-do-do.
Enemy slain. Killing spree. Enemy turret destroyed.
Okay, let's go.
Enemy turret destroyed.
Oh, what boost should I go this game? Probably armor boots. I might as well get boots upgrade as well. I get my proto belt because I want to try and dash away from multiple enemies this game. Yasuo, Vayne, Rengar. So many enemies I want to dash away from. I'll just be like, no, thank you. I do not want to go anywhere near you. Checking now, checking now.
You are unstoppable.
I kind of messed up there. I shouldn't have spammed my auto attack because I auto attack a minion when Vayne went invisible. That's fine.
Top turret is under attack. Lost. Enemy turret destroyed. Rampage. Top turret is under attack. Enemy turret destroyed.
I guess we can just run around their whole base now. Yep. We can just do that now. We can just two-shot the Vayne. No problem. We can just two-shot the Vayne like that. I need 3k gold now as well. Again. I have so much gold this game. Mo. Now I gotta stop. Here you go. Nice. Nice damage, by the way. Very nice Draven damage, chat. Not that bad. Nice, quick and easy 10-minute game. That's more like it. That's more like it. Let's go. The domination of the early game of Draven. Nothing that they can do at all. Oh, Kozik's actually still did more damage than me. I'm actually quite surprised. I'm actually very, very surprised that he did more damage than me. Still pretty good, though.